Hello, Facebook friends. I don't normally do videos on Sunday, but I happened to be in the office and I looked at a post. You know, when they give you those posts that you did in the past, and so you can repost an old thought. There was a post I did in 2017, which really was an idea that I used to teach on the radio for years about going crazy for Christmas. And I would tell people not to go crazy for Christmas. And in so discussing home ownership, here's one thing that stops us, or here's another thing that stops us from being able to be participants in a homeowner process. And that one thing being going in huge and massive amount of debt, pardon me, every year right at Christmas. And so I'm admonishing you. I'm going to talk about a few things very briefly today. I just got out of church. I do want you to know I celebrated, had a great time in church today. The spirit was moving. And in so having the spirit move, we also want to deal with your cognitive appreciation. We have to deal with the spiritual man as well as the mental man, the cognitive man. And so that we speak not only to your inner man and to your spiritual man, but to your psychological, your cognitive man, and to get you to appreciate that it's intelligent that we make sound decisions and that we're not perpetuated and manipulated by the spirit of greed and mammon right around the holidays, which is exactly what's going to happen and it's starting to happen. And so you get in all kinds of debt and then you are unable to participate in the home ownership process in 2020. Every year you've said next year, this is going to be my year. This is going to be my year. You stood at the altar. You declared things. This is going to be my year. But at the end of the year, the devil is maneuvering very strategically to trap and to bind a lot of you into bondage so that next year you'll spend all next year trying to get out of bondage to try it again the following year. And I think psychologically speaking, what happens to many of us as Afro Americans and many brown people and poor people, period, not saying that all Afro Americans are poor by a long shot, but what happens to a lot of us, simply, let me just put it like that, is that because of a spirit of deprivation, and because of the fact that we let a lot of our children and wives and husbands and family members really tap dance on our nerves right around this time of the year, people really start plucking the guitar string of your emotion right about now, and you feel compelled and perplexed and almost bound and pushed and forced and shoved into going into these lines and being trampled on and stampeded and these midnight sales, so to speak, and these Black Friday sales, which actually turn into a Blue Monday for your wallet and your pocketbook. And so you carry that debt perpetually into the next year. And therefore, you're unable to participate in the home ownership because you gave your down payment to the merchants this year. I remember hearing Creflo Dollar saying that debt is tomorrow's prosperity already promised and mortgaged and auctioned away. Actually, he just said you've laid hold, you've bound tomorrow's prosperity by today's debt. So what we don't want to do is to have the enemy to literally shackle our blessings already into next year. He's trying to trap you, bind you, no different than the slave catcher did the slave. He's trying to catch you now so that he can lay hold of your dreams for next year. This year, right at the end of the year, there would be a barrage of emotions and sentiments and people really wanting, to be homeowners. But at the same time, your children are going to come in, your family and your wives and your husbands. Don't put that kind of pressure on each other. The greatest gift that you can give is a gift that keeps on giving. And the gift that keeps on giving is the gift of home ownership. Perpetually speaking, it can be passed down from generation to generation. Because look at this, and thank you for that admonishment, Lord. When you let the devil trick you into promising away and mortgaging your tomorrow's blessings today, right, for next year, because you go and put yourself in debt. So you bound by these credit card landlords, you bound by these lords of finance, right? Credit card man and all other kind of folks have laid hold to your finances. Okay, but guess what? You've also guaranteed that you're going to continue to pay rent. So the devil strategically has put you in a place where now you're stuck to have to continue to deal with the landlord for a whole nother 12 months. Just by the decisions that you're going to make over the next few days will determine whether or not you become a homeowner next year. Second part of this lecture, you're able to apply for your refunds right around January, February. Okay, some January, yeah, as soon as January, February. So let's put that money up for your down payment or your reserves. There is no reason that a family of two persons cannot buy a house, can't come up with the down payment. You cannot come up. Think about this. $200,000 house, 7,500. You can't come up with 7,500 by saving and working together. Can two walk together? Let's say be in agreement. So you have to be in agreement. Yet you can pay the landlord $1,200 times 12. Okay, you pay him about $14,000-15,000 a year in rent because you cannot work together for a season and save that money for your down payment. This is ludicrous, and this is actually making the landlord rich. And then you couple that with the fact and compound it by the fact that you also now get in deeper debt because of these credit cards. So now you've assured two things. One, that you won't be a homeowner next year because you've mortgaged tomorrow's future by today's debt. You've mortgaged tomorrow's future by today's debt. And that is not intelligent thinking. And I pray that we be an intelligent thinking, functioning people and that we work together cohesively. And when I say people, I mean all people within the sound of my voice, all my Father's children. I want you to use your resources intelligently. The end of the year is drawing near, but it's still plenty of time to find a house. There's some great deals right about now because some folks haven't been able to sell their house. Of course, to my veterans, it is always a good time for you to buy. But as I've said in previous lectures, and this is part 3, the VA is changing up a little bit. So we want to see that you have some reserves, which is 1 or 2 months mortgage payment. In some instances 3. So there's no reason that a family of 2 ought not have $3,500 or $4,500. You don't have to put it down, but you need it for reserve. Stop coming through the door telling me you got $1,000, just enough for your appraisal and your earnest money, and then you need that back right away, but you don't have any money saved. That is not a recipe for success. If one thing goes wrong, you're going to have a problem making your mortgage payment. So let's be different. Let's endeavor to be different. Let's endeavor to stop doing some of the same crazy stuff we've done year after year, perpetuating the same bad habits, doing the same negative thinking, the same stinking thinking, the same not thinking, the same not working together, the same not being determined. Because when it comes to home ownership or any other degree, you have to purpose it. It has to be a purposeful, intentional decision and endeavor on your behalf. And I know that you can do it. I know that you can do it. I want you to do it. You need to do it. You've promised yourself you're going to do it. So let this be the year that it really comes to pass. All right. You know, I love you to life. 757-567-6700. 757-567-6700. I'm Renard Boyce, the owner of Temple Mortgage. If you need to reach me, you can also Gmail me at Renard, REYNARD BOYCE. All right. At Gmail. And of course, this is Temple Mortgage and our license number being 218997, just in case some people wanted to know. All right, we love you so much. I want you to just make the right decision. This is just simple logic. Let us work together. Can two walk together, lest they be in agreement? Let's not worry about any $500 tennis shoes for anybody and a whole bunch of games that you can't even find the parts to, and meat coats and all these things. Your children don't pay any bills in your house, so your children are not active participants in terms of having a voting decision. They cast no vote. You are the mom, you're the dad, you're the mom, single mom, you're the single dad. You're empowered. You're supposed to leave them an inheritance, not get them a whole bunch of stuff. And guess what? People who didn't make the honor roll don't even have a voice. When my children were coming up, if them grades weren't right, it really won't nothing to talk about. So I don't believe in rewarding bad behavior and people who've been negligent and malfeasant all year long. Now talking about what can we do. My mother was a school teacher for 32 years. She would tell them you can plan on doing better next year. But anyway, God bless you. And we'll see you soon. I have some more just common sense things that we're going to talk about this coming week. Bye-bye. Thank you so much.